Let me ask you something. You're walking through a store. You weren't planning to buy anything, but then you see it. A sign that says, limited time offer, 40% off, today only. And suddenly, you want it. You don't even know if you need it, but something inside you says, if I don't grab this now, I'm going to miss out. So you buy it. And then you walk out of that store feeling weirdly good about spending money you didn't plan to spend. Now, here's the question nobody asks. Why did that happen? Because it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a coincidence. And it definitely wasn't your fault in the way you think it is. The truth is, your brain was running a program, a very old, very powerful program that was never designed to help you build wealth. And until you understand what that program is, it will keep making financial decisions for you. Decisions that feel completely rational in the moment, but quietly keep you broke over time. So today, we're going to open up that program, look at exactly how it works, and most importantly, figure out how to start rewriting it.
By the way, if this is your first time here, my name is Zaki, and on this channel, we take the stuff nobody taught you in school: money, investing, wealth psychology, passive income, and we break it down in a way that actually makes sense. No complicated jargon, no boring lectures, just simple, honest explanations that help you think about money differently. So, if that sounds like something you're into, stick around, because it's about to get really interesting.
Here's what most people believe about money problems. They think it's about math. They think if they just earned a little more, or found the right budget spreadsheet, or discovered the perfect savings strategy, everything would click into place. And look, math matters. Budgeting matters. Earning more matters. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people who struggle financially are not failing at math. They're failing at psychology. Think about it. You probably already know you should spend less than you earn. You probably already know that saving early is better than saving late. You probably already know that buying things you don't need is a bad idea. You know all of this, and yet the behavior keeps happening anyway. That's not a knowledge problem. That's a brain problem. And the reason your brain keeps doing this isn't because you're weak or lazy or bad with money. It's because your brain was literally built for a world that no longer exists.
Here's where it gets interesting. Your brain, the same brain you're using right now to watch this video, is roughly 200,000 years old. And for almost all of that time, humans lived in a world where the biggest financial threat wasn't credit card debt or lifestyle inflation. It was starvation. So your brain evolved with one core rule hardwired into it: get rewards now, because tomorrow is uncertain. If there was food available, you ate it, all of it, because you didn't know when the next meal was coming. If there was an opportunity in front of you, you took it, because waiting usually meant losing it. That instinct kept your ancestors alive for hundreds of thousands of years. The problem, you're still running that same software, but you're living in a world with Amazon Prime, fast food on every corner, and one-click purchasing. The environment changed completely. Your brain didn't. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it present bias. The tendency to value things you can have now way more than things you could have in the future. And here's a simple way to see it in action. Imagine I offer you two options. Option A, I give you $100 today. Option B, I give you $150 in 3 months. Mathematically, option B is obviously better. $150 is 50% more than $100, and 3 months isn't even that long. But studies show that a huge percentage of people choose option A, not because they don't understand the math, but because the brain assigns a much higher emotional value to things that are immediate. The $100 feels real. The $150 in 3 months feels abstract. And this exact bias, this preference for now over later, is the reason most people spend instead of save, swipe instead of invest. Buy the thing instead of letting the money sit. It's not a character flaw. It's just your ancient brain doing what it was designed to do. But that's only part of the story.
Let's talk about something called loss aversion. Here's the short version. Your brain feels the pain of losing something roughly twice as strongly as it feels the pleasure of gaining something equivalent. Losing $100 feels about twice as bad as winning $100 feels good. Think about that for a second, because it explains so much. It explains why people hold on to bad investments way too long, because selling means locking in a loss, and the brain will do almost anything to avoid that moment. It explains why people don't negotiate their salary, because the fear of an awkward conversation or rejection feels worse than the pleasure of getting more money. It explains why people don't switch banks or cancel subscriptions or renegotiate bills, because changing something feels like risking a loss, even when staying is clearly costing them more. Your brain isn't being irrational. It's just playing defense. It's trying to protect you from pain. The problem is, in a financial context, playing constant defense is one of the most expensive things you can do. And then there's a third piece, one that might be the most sneaky of all. It's called social comparison. And it's the reason why the more money most people make, the more broke they feel. Here's how it works. Your brain doesn't evaluate your financial situation in absolute terms. It evaluates it relative to the people around you. So if you're making $50,000 a year and everyone around you is making $40,000, your brain feels good. You feel financially secure, comfortable, like you're doing well. But if you suddenly start making $80,000 a year, and now you're surrounded by people making $100,000, your brain starts to feel like you're behind, even though you're making significantly more money than before. This is why raises don't make people feel rich. This is why people who move to expensive cities somehow always end up spending everything they make. And this is the engine behind lifestyle inflation, the phenomenon where your spending automatically rises to match your income, no matter how much your income grows. Because your brain isn't trying to build wealth, it's trying to keep up.
So let's zoom out for a second and look at what's really happening here. You have a brain that was designed to grab rewards immediately, avoid any pain of loss, and constantly compare itself to the people closest to you. Now, put that brain inside a modern economy filled with marketing teams who study these exact patterns and use them to engineer products, pricing, and promotions that hit every one of these psychological triggers perfectly. The limited time offer hits present bias, get it now or miss out. The you deserve it messaging hits loss aversion. If you don't buy this, you're depriving yourself. The social media feed of everyone's highlight reel hits comparison. Look at what everyone else has. These aren't random. They're designed, and they work not because people are gullible, but because they're targeting instincts that are literally millions of years old. The person who understands this doesn't just feel better about their financial decisions, they start to see the game that's being played. And once you can see it, you start to have a real choice about whether you play along.
So what do you actually do with this? Because knowing that your brain has these tendencies is useful, but it's not enough on its own. You can't just willpower your way through 200,000 years of evolutionary programming every single day. That's exhausting. And it doesn't work. What actually works is designing your environment so the default behavior is the smart behavior. Here's what that means in practice. First, fight present bias with automation. If you have to actively decide to save money every month, your present bias will win most of the time. But if you set up an automatic transfer the day your paycheck arrives, the money moves before your brain even registers it as available. You never feel like you're losing something because you never had it in your hand to begin with. This is why automatic retirement contributions work, not because people suddenly become more disciplined, but because the system removes the decision entirely. Second, use loss aversion to your advantage. Instead of framing saving as giving up money today, reframe it as protecting your future self from financial pain. Your brain responds much more strongly to avoiding loss than gaining reward, so let it work for you. Think of every dollar you invest as a dollar you're locking away from future regret. Third, be Be intentional about your comparison group. This one is uncomfortable, but it's important. The people you spend the most time around will set your financial baseline. If everyone in your social circle is upgrading their apartment every 2 years, eating out 5 nights a week, and buying new cars every 3 years, your brain will normalize that as the standard, and you'll feel behind if you don't match it. But if you start spending time, even online, with people who talk openly about saving rates, investment portfolios, and long-term financial goals, your comparison point shifts. What starts to feel normal starts to change. You don't have to cut off your friends, but you do have to be deliberate about what financial behaviors you're absorbing as normal, because your brain is doing that math constantly, whether you're aware of it or not.
Here's the thing about all of this. The people who build real, lasting wealth aren't necessarily smarter. They don't have access to secret information, and they're not immune to these psychological patterns. They just understand that the patterns exist. They build systems that account for their brain's tendencies instead of fighting them every single day. They automate the behaviors they want to keep. They design their environment to make the smart choice the easy choice. And over time, those small structural changes compound, just like interest does. Your brain was wired for a world that no longer exists, but you get to decide how you live in the world that does. The first step is just understanding the game, and now you do. If this gave you a new way of thinking about money and behavior, make sure you stick around, because next time we're going to talk about the specific trap that keeps people stuck at the same income level for years, even when they're working harder than ever. And trust me, once you see it, you'll never look at your paycheck the same way again.
So here's what I want you to take away from this. Your brain isn't broken. It's just running old software in a new world. And the moment you understand that, everything starts to shift. Now, if this video gave you a new way of thinking about money, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this kind of content. And if you're new here, subscribe, because next week we're going deeper. We're going to talk about the one trap that keeps people stuck at the same income level for years, even when they're working harder than ever. It's called the effort trap. And once you see it, you'll never think about your career and your money the same way again. I'll see you in the next one.